name is Vahid Chitsaz, part of Elite Mastermind Group. I apologize for my delay, but I'm here now, Chris. Let's start. Go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody. Let us know where you're coming in from.
Hey, everyone. I'm Chris Cota from Atlanta, Georgia. And, you know, what I do for everyone, it's hard to say because what we do is we're a solutions company and we focus on marketing and technology. But you never know what someone needs, so we'll really go into an entire business and fix their flow and figure out, you know, is it a system problem? Is it a people problem? Is it a salesperson problem? Sometimes it's just a mindset problem. And, you know, so I believe that I'm called to help people find their fastest and path to success.
Got it. Chris, when did you start with Think and Grow Rich?
I'd probably say, man, probably about 7 years ago. I've been reading it, listening to it, you know, doing some of the principles, practicing what it says, you know, going back and coming back since my kids have been born. My oldest is 7, so I'll say 7 years.
That is nice. What are some of the principles that you're utilizing today in your business currently?
Pattern. Well, for me, it's really energy and frequency and patterns. So when you see things happening and you pay attention to, you know, like last year, for example, we're like, I've seen this before. What happened? What did we learn from it? And what can we change? Because, you know, and you're always challenged with diversity and all this craziness that can come up. And it challenges your mind on how you think. So whatever you think about, you know, you're trapped. So if you're thinking about, oh man, I got to pay my bills, I got to do this, or oh man, like all the bad stuff, you're going to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad week, you're going to, you know, so, you know, I always try to focus on gratitude in the mornings, for example. I'll even, you know, hey, I'm thankful for that shirt, I'm thankful for the sock, like little pieces, like, to try to get the flow of energy moving, the gratitude flow.
I agree with that 100%. Let's talk about adversity. When those things hit you, when things are not going according to the plan that you did, how do you deal with it? What's your remedy for it? How do you face them? Do you go to a mentor? Do you read more books? Do you try to solve it on your own? What's your response to that?
A combination of all the above. Like today, for example, I had everything planned. I was getting ready to go out to my office, and I get a phone call. Hey, your son has a fever. You need to come pick him up. I'm like, oh my gosh. We've had him already home for like 2 or 3 days sick. It's just a fever, but it, you know, when you have kids involved and you're trying to do work and conference calls and stuff, it's very difficult. So then, you know, I was prepared to do this interview at my office. And all of a sudden, I'm stuck, like I'm at home having to coordinate me doing the interview. I got my child downstairs. He's happy playing. You know, I could hear him doing whatever he's doing, trying to keep it, you know. And then I'm like, all right, I'm bed. I'm ready. All right, 1:30 hits, boom. Nobody's here. Like, what's going on?
It was hitting us both at the same time. I love it how that happened. But you want to know, everything happens for a reason. There was definitely a reason for it. So it's cool. I'm glad that he's okay and you got him from school. But I see so many entrepreneurs and so many individuals, when those temporary defeats hit them, a lot of them, they freeze up. You went in a mode of, let me be resourceful, let me just make it happen. I'm going to do it at the house. But a lot of other people would have dealt with it differently.
Yeah, well, and those kind of things can usually take you out and mess up your whole day. But I'm also looking at it like, okay, do I need to spend more time with him? Is that what this is telling me? Is it because he recently got hurt at daycare too, really bad, like all the way, a big gash in his head, all the way to the bone. And I've been dealing with, you know, I attempted to get the tape, and the tape didn't exist. That magically disappeared that day. And
you must be a tough kid.
Yeah, but you know, and me, I don't like legal stuff. I don't really like to go there. But when you're dealing with your child and you're dealing with insurance, and that medical bill that popped up, that was like almost $4,000 for like 12 stitches. My insurance didn't cover it, so it's like out of pocket. So then I'm like, okay, you guys got to pay for it because this happened on your watch. I pay you guys a monthly fee and, you know, substantially high fee for daycare. And and I was like, and I talked to a bunch of people, talked to a couple of my mentors, and they're like, you know, you need to pursue legal action. And I did that, and then I was about to, because I believe sometimes legal action can also be karma. Karma can come back from that, and I didn't like that feeling, so I was getting ready to call it off. And I walked in that day, and the teacher had my son's arm and wasn't watching where she was pulling him, and pulled his forehead smack into a metal door, and I watched it. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not supposed to call this off because this is messing with safety of other children that's possible for getting hurt again, and I need to get him out of there. So now I'm actually, that's what I was doing today, is looking for a new child care provider or a nanny or something. I'm like, why is all this? And so sometimes you just, you know, they say cash flow, but there's also going with the flow to try to find the path of least resistance. And sometimes we're presented these obstacles to solve a problem.
I agree with that 100%. You're just being resourceful and getting it done. And I understand what happens with babies. It is a very sensitive. They should be very lucky that did not happen to my daughter, because my wife is an attorney, and she would have brought the whole entire legal department and the legal force on. So they're very lucky that did not happen here, because then you have that. And here's my question to you. When that happens, that still doesn't stop you from continuing your business. The show still goes on. But that's what I see with a lot of entrepreneurs. That's what happens. And I think that's what Dr. Hill was trying to convey throughout the whole book, Think and Grow Rich, that, hey, adversity, temporary defeat, all of these life challenges will still be there. It's not that successful people don't have those. It's how you and I react to it. It's not what happens. It's how we react to it, how we take it in, and how we're able to still press forward. Now, it might slow you down a little bit, but still you're pushing forward. So I agree with that 100%. Now, Chris.
Yeah, you're right. It's about how you react, but also when you see all this stuff, you're like, you got to reassess what you were thinking about like a few days before to really, okay, what am I attracting, and how can I got to change, something that's creating this magnetic pull of just craziness.
Craziness. I love it. That's how you go. So if somebody, Chris, has not read the book, why do you recommend people to read Think and Grow Rich or any self-development book? Why should they study these materials?
Because more than likely, a majority of people out there, you can see things that are going on with other people in their life, and you can help them get through some struggles just because it's natural intuition. But however, you can never see yourself. So in order to work on yourself, you just got to work on yourself. And eventually someone will point something out to you and say, this, whatever, have you ever read Think and Grow Rich? And that'll all start happening. So you'll all start attracting. I have a whole bunch of people, we talk about it all the time. Napoleon Hill said this, Napoleon this, and then, oh, you know what? That's why this isn't working, because in order to reach a goal, you have to have a definite plan to get there. Really? Can I get a phone call right now? Okay.
You're saying about goals.
Yeah, so in order to reach a goal, you have to have a definite plan to get there. If you don't have a definite plan, you can have that goal, but, how do you get there? So, for me, I like to go, all right, my goal is 30K. How can I work backwards from that? How many of this do I need to get in recurring revenue to reach 30K, for example? Or, you have to find that plan. But for people that's never read it, I'll say this. It's kind of like an entrepreneur's version. It's a tricky way to say it, but of how an entrepreneur can, like a man like Dr. Hill, can convert some of the methodology and the thinking in the Bible that goes into that, but it doesn't sound so, new age, like, because everyone's like, spiritual is one thing, you know, God is another thing, but, you know, for me, God is everything. Spiritual is God, and the universe is God. So it's like, you know, and if energy is God, then I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that
You
one.
were on the right path. You were on the right path, and I agree with that. Because sometimes, here's the funny part, Chris. Let me tell you something. I've been doing a little bit of a game for myself. So I'm kind of doing a research. I ask a lot of successful people that I come across with, and I ask them a specific question. I'm like, why you're successful? Believe it or not, most of them don't know why they're successful. Most of them cannot put in, they can't quantifiable, they can't logically tell you the order of the things that they did, that they were successful. Oh, I worked hard. I'm like, no, construction people work hard too. Yeah. Oh, I work smart. I'm like, okay, then why all engineers are not millionaires and billionaires, right? Why high school dropouts become billionaires and all of these NASA engineers are not billionaires? It doesn't make sense. So a lot of successful people, they do the principles, but then when you ask them why are they successful, most of them don't know how to explain. They're like, well, it just happened. I went to work. Well, no, we need to know exactly how you did it so we could kind of go back and reverse engineer it or actually teach it to other people. So I think that's why it took Dr. Hill 20, 30 years of studying these people, because a lot of these people didn't know themselves. So I think Dr. Hill, with his research, he had to like pull it out of them, organize it, and come up with the top 15, 16, 17 principles, depending on which book you read. So listen, you're totally on it. A lot of people ask me the same question, and it's hard for me to explain. So it's one of those phenomenons that it happens, but we don't know what was the exact reasoning why it happened. It's a multiple things that come together that makes that happen.
I mean, you can be super successful, and I mean, you could lose it overnight. I mean, I had a business that I was in, and you know, we're generating 30, 40 grand a month, and all of a sudden that went to zero overnight because the credit card processor decided, we don't want you no more. So to recollect all those clients again was a nightmare. But you also wonder, why did all that happen? But it also shows you a way to never let it happen again. And it's a tip for everyone out there. If you're running businesses and you're taking credit card, make sure you get a copy of the front and back. Because if you don't get a copy of the front and back and the address that goes with it, if your system goes down, you got to go collect them again.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. Listen, Chris, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Hopefully your son will feel better. If there's anything that me and my team can do for you, you let us know.
Definitely will. I'll definitely be reaching out because I know we connected for some reason.
Let's do it. No problem, brother. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.